Good morning, everybody, on this chilly Thursday morning. I am back this morning with Transportation Cabinet Secretary and Director of Vaccine Distribution, Jim Gray, along with Kentucky Emergency Management Executive Director, Michael Dossett, to provide another update on the ongoing winter storm in order to keep Kentuckians informed and safe. Early this morning, to ensure the safety of all Kentuckians and to limit traffic on icy and dangerous roads, I announced that state offices are closed today. Fewer Kentuckians traveling is what we need to protect life, reduce accidents, and clear roads for our emergency responders and transportation crews. We thank all our public servants for their dedication to the Commonwealth, certainly those who are working to keep other Kentuckians safe through this winter storm. Employees able to telecommute and essential employees designated for mandatory operations should continue to report to work as directed by agency management. State employees with questions regarding this closure should contact either their agency's management or human resources office. Protecting our Kentucky families is the main mission of my administration. I urge every Kentuckian to stay home and off these treacherous roads and stay tuned to local media for information on developing weather. Since this morning's announcement, and actually just a few minutes ago, I took another step to help us fight back against this winter storm by signing a declaration of a state of emergency. This declaration will free up funding and boost coordination across agencies as we respond to this weather crisis in a way that can keep all Kentuckians safe. The state of emergency directs the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management and the Department of Military Affairs to execute the Kentucky Emergency Operations Plan and coordinate the response across state agencies and private relief groups. It also directs the Finance and Administrative Cabinet to provide the funding for the response and authorizes the Division of Emergency Management to request additional resources. As for Kentucky Emergency Management, that State of Emergency Operations Center, it remains activated at Level 3 operations. Operations consist of KYEM personnel monitoring the weather system, along with critical emergency support function partners for transportation, law enforcement, power, and utilities. We know that as of early this morning, emergency management has been made aware of 70,500 Kentucky customers with outages, and Director Dossett will cover more details about the areas most impacted by heavy ice and what is expected over the next 24 hours. Unfortunately, we know that precipitation in some parts of our state is expected to last through the day. We again remind Kentuckians that icing has and continues to cause down power lines and power outages. We still have a ways to go before we defeat this storm. If possible, prepare for the need to use an alternative source of heat, but be aware of the dangers of alternative heat sources and carbon monoxide poisoning. Generators, camp stoves, and charcoal grills should always be placed outdoors and at least 20 feet away from the windows. I can't tell you how many people during these types of events we lose just because of that. It is avoidable, so be safe. Never use a gas stovetop or oven to heat your home. Visit cdc.gov for more information. If you experience a down power line or a power outage, please contact your local utility company. They will be able to provide you with information on the duration of your outage. On roads, we are reminding Kentuckians to please stay off of them unless necessary. Our transportation crews equipped with snowplows and salt trucks and also chainsaws have been out since yesterday evening, and those transportation crews are doing a great job. I think as you'll hear, the condition of many of our roads is already much better than expected, and it's because of hard work. So please stay off the roads. Give our transportation crews that extra time to make sure we can get them in the very best shape for you. That's something that'll help them and it'll protect you. And also, when you get a chance after this is done, thank them. They're out in the most dangerous conditions, oftentimes late at night, away from their families, making sure that they can create a safe environment for our transportation needs. This severe winter storm has brought all kinds of weather, rain turning to freezing rain, sleet, snow, and ice. There have been multiple crashes and intermittent closures on interstates, parkways, and major routes across the state since last night and continuing into this morning. Transportation crews aggressively treated roads throughout the night as the weather allowed. There have also been widespread reports of downed trees and limbs, especially in central and eastern Kentucky. The Transportation Cabinet and the Kentucky Division of Forestry have been working together to aid in tree removal. If you must travel, please reduce your speed, give yourself more time, and visit snowky.ky.gov for snow and ice resources and goky.ky.gov to check road conditions. Those conditions are changing rapidly. So please, don't travel unless you need to. If you do, go slow, give yourself plenty of time, and check the conditions. Listen, everybody wants you to make it where you're going more than they want you to make it on time. So please, be safe. Do not rush. The conditions are still dangerous, and we want everybody to make it through this. Secretary Gray, in a moment, will provide more of an update on the work of our transportation crews. We thank them all for their hard work. I also want to remind Kentuckians that our regional Kroger vaccination sites are closed today, Thursday. Every appointment for today at one of those Kroger regional sites, they are at the Kentucky Horse Park, the Northern Kentucky Convention Center in Covington, and the Greenwood Mall in Bowling Green, are being moved to next Thursday at the same time and at the same location. You should get a communication from Kroger on that. Tomorrow, Friday, all of our regional sites are currently scheduled to be open. If you have an appointment tomorrow at any of the Kroger regional sites, please expect to go. Make your plan accordingly. Give yourself plenty of time. We want to get you vaccinated. Everybody from today, we're going to get you next week. So make sure you mask up. You do all those important things to keep yourself safe until then. And remember, we need you to keep doing those things afterwards until enough people statewide are vaccinated to get us to that herd immunity level or to provide us additional protection. As for other vaccination sites across the state, they may reschedule appointments if needed. If you have an appointment scheduled for today or even Friday, keep a close eye on your email or voicemail so that you can get important notifications. Now, on an additional note, today at 4, we will be announcing significant additional places where you can get vaccinated, both regional sites and a large number of other sites across the Commonwealth. Tune in at 4 to see that map greatly expand. And I think everybody will see how we're building out this network in a positive way so that when we get the supply we need, we can have sufficient vaccines everywhere in Kentucky to quickly vaccinate people. I know it's disappointing for those that may have had their appointment delayed a week or two, but we've gone through too much. We've kept each other too safe during this pandemic to have you lose your life on the roadway when it is dangerous. So Director Dossett will now provide a detailed weather and emergency management update, and then it'll go directly to Senator Gray about the work of our transportation crews, and then we will be back to take a couple questions. So Director Dossett.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. So the message from the State Operations Center here in Frankfort is please use caution. Limit your travel today, as Governor Beshear indicated. Stay off the roadways if at all possible. There are a lot of emergency responders out today. Our local EM directors are out in their counties surveying the damage from the ice, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll first provide a weather update. The system is slowly moving out of the state, but not without some complications. James, if you can bring up, when will it end? We're looking at some additional accumulation from 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. That is somewhat more of an injury from last night. As you can see, the system will transit out of the Commonwealth midday and early afternoon. The early morning is between Bluegrass and the Cumberland Parkway, and then we move farther south and it changes from morning freezing rain to a little bit of additional ice accumulation. We're going to have a few complications with that, with increased wind speeds today that can cause some problems with trees and power lines that are already under stress from the first day of the event. We'll see winds from about 10 to 15 miles per hour trending east-northeast with gusts of 20 to 25 miles an hour coming up out of Tennessee. Taking a look back from Wednesday for the local accumulation of ice. James, if you could pull up the ice slide, please. There we go. So as you can see, we have an extended swath across the state. We received in the lighter color areas from 0.2 to 0.3 of an inch, and some of the darker colored areas, a little bit unexpected. It rose that high over in the east from 0.4 to 0.7 of an inch. We could expect that additional accumulation down in the lower areas, and that is actually occurring now. It should taper off in late afternoon. We've experienced, obviously, some storm-related power outages from the overnight icing event. So as the governor indicated, the total reported to the state EOC is approximately 70,500 of our customers are out of service at this time. You can see where they're represented across the map. The following counties have at least a 10% outage in their county. You can see by the darker colors those who have more extreme outages: Carter, Lawrence, Boyd, Elliott, Greenup, Bath, Lewis, Clark, Rowan, Nicholas, Fleming, Nelson, Powell, Montgomery, and Madison all have outages. Again, the current day event will move slowly to the south, and we should see clearing late this afternoon, and it'll move on out of state. Thank you, and we'll keep updating you. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Director Dossett. And much of what I'm going to share has been shared, some of it by the governor already, and some of it by the director. And in fact, from the Transportation Cabinet, I would just punctuate and reiterate what the secretary, what the director has said, what Director Dossett has said. From the message from the Transportation Cabinet is please, please be cautious. Now, in terms of where we are today, there are almost 2,000 Department of Highways employees that are working on the snow and ice removal project. And that includes more than 1,000 pieces of equipment and another 400 contractors. So you can tell from those numbers that this is an extraordinary commitment of resources. The good news for us is that, as Director Dossett said, this winter storm system has moved steadily eastward, and precipitation has ended in some places, many places actually. But it's still coming down in southeastern Kentucky. Even where the precipitation has ended, our crews are still contending with ice and snow, sleet and freezing rain, and also with downed trees and power lines. So, of course, our primary concern is public safety, and for that, we need everyone's help. You can see the image of a snowplow right here, and giving that equipment plenty of room to maneuver is something that I'll ask all of our citizens and all drivers to do, please. The roadways in general are still hazardous and dangerous. The main thing you can do as a citizen is to stay off the roadways unless travel is a necessity. All through the night and continuing this morning, we've had numerous reports of blocked roadways, both from downed trees or power lines and from stranded or jackknifed vehicles. A number of our interstates and parkways were blocked at some point. This morning, that's continued with Interstate 24, I-24 in Christian County. The eastbound lanes are now open, but the westbound lanes on 24 are still closed. Our crews are working quickly and are working very deliberately so they can keep open these high priority routes, but they must do so safely. As we said yesterday, this is going to be a prolonged event. For example, even though traffic can continue in rush hour today in some of our larger locations, larger cities and so forth, the expectation is that this is going to be a prolonged event. So over the weekend, we may get more trouble spots. So even with no precipitation falling, this bitter cold is going to keep the ice around. So we'll need to continue to ask for everyone's cooperation. Now, a couple of information items. Power outages are going to mean some non-working traffic signals. If you come to an intersection where the signal is dark, treat it like a four-way stop. Also, the rest area on eastbound I-64 in Clark County is closed because a tree has pulled down a power line. Now, that was as of 9 o'clock. We have online resources to keep you informed about road conditions. And can you pull that back up, James, that last one? One of those is, and the governor mentioned it, one of those is snowky.ky.gov. Again, that's snowky.ky.gov. And you can also follow the Transportation Cabinet on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You'll find links to our social media accounts on that snowky.ky.gov site. Closures are ever evolving. All right, Governor, that's a good summary of where we are right now, and I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
Well, thank you to Secretary Jim Gray, who I think I turned into a senator there accidentally, but we can't live without you here in Kentucky. So we appreciate the job that you do. Let's go to questions. First, we have Jacqueline Nye from WLEX.
Governor, my question is, for all the thousands of people that are out of power across the state, is there a timeline for when they can expect for the power for them to be turned back on?
Well, I want to go over to Director Dossett for that, but on each of those individuals, they should check with their specific utility company. There are more tools now online or via phone to figure out how long you will be out and the priority of where the utility company is going to go, person by person or area by area. Director Dossett.
Governor answered part of the question. All of these utility companies now have online outage maps. You can usually zoom into the area within a mile or less to locate the outage, and then there's an estimated restoration time. I can tell you that the crews are on the road and they're working. We're monitoring progress in the state EOC, and there will be less of an impact during this storm than in others. The Transportation Cabinet and Secretary Gray's folks on the ground have done a remarkable job in clearing, in addition to the jobs being done by our local responders. So they are out in the communities with the outages. We actually, although there are hundreds and hundreds in each community out of power this morning, it is a relatively smaller amount than we normally experience in large events. So they're working very quickly. And again, the message is please give them passage on the interstates and in your neighborhoods to get the power back up.
Well, I think what we're seeing thus far is what happens when you are prepared. We had the National Weather Service give us a heads up on this and enough time to get the information out to everyone. We've had great work by the transportation cabinet employees, by emergency management, by our utility companies, by our local responders, and it's been really exciting to watch the good work and the all hands on deck across Kentucky. And I think because of that, we're seeing problems fixed a lot faster, roads cleared a lot faster. It's been some really good work. Karen Czar from WEKU.
Hi, Governor. To what extent is the National Guard being utilized amid all of this? Thank you so much.
Again, I want to go over to Director Dossett. I don't believe we've had to call them out yet. Director?
Thank you, sir. In these situations, we provide what is known as a warning order to our National Guard partners. They were put on high alert. Actually, the day before the storm impacted, we have held them in a readiness state, but they are not deployed at this point, and we've not had any requests that would rise to the level of using the Guard.
All right, Billy Coben from the Courier-Journal.
Thanks, Governor. And I guess this could be for you or Secretary Gray. I think just kind of generally, what does this storm, maybe remind, state officials about the importance of maintaining our roadways? Are there any maybe concerns, given this latest cycle of the need to properly fund, repairs and improvements for the roads? And just kind of, if you could talk about that. Thanks so much.
Well, our roads, bridges, interstates are absolutely critical, not just for our people, but for commerce here in Kentucky. We are such an incredible logistics hub. We create thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs, all based on being able to ship things from here in Kentucky around the country, primarily on our roads. So for our citizens, for our businesses and jobs, proper funding for our roads is absolutely necessary. And the more weather events we have, the more wear and tear they have. And so it's really important that we make sure that our laws are up to date in ways that would properly fund the system that we rely on. We rely on it for safety when we put our family in the car to drive where we need to go. We have some of the most dangerous rural roads in the country when it comes to overall safety, but we also rely upon them again, to continue a large part of Kentucky's economic engine. Over to Secretary Jim Gray.
Thanks, Governor. I would just echo what you said, and I want to thank the more than 2,000 Department of Highway employees that are on the project on this snow and ice event today. They're doing a remarkable job. I've seen some of the equipment, however, that they're utilizing. And I always think that in the time that I've been in this role, I think of, for example, how many more resources a state just north of us, Indiana, has. More than $500 million a year. So we're stretching, frankly, we are stretching our resources. And you said it well, Governor. This is, of course, it's about transportation for our citizens, but it's about commerce as well. At the end of the day, it's about economic growth and prosperity. Having an infrastructure, having roads that are in good shape and that are available for commerce is just essential.
All right, and finally, Jack Bramer from the Herald Leader. Are you there, Jack?
Two quick questions. One, any reported fatalities attributed to the storm? And concerning the Kroger vaccine sites, we're getting calls from folks who already had scheduled their vaccines for next Thursday, February 18th. Will they be affected?
On the second question, we are confirming the answer to that. But my understanding is that Kroger is increasing capacity next Thursday so that they can both get everyone who was canceled today, as well as be fully on track for what we wanted to do next week in those facilities. So as of now, anyone new who is scheduled for next Thursday is still on. Again, we will confirm that, but we have the capacity to do it. I know Kroger is committed to vaccinating as many people as we can send their way, which is just limited by supply. On the fatality side, let's go over to Director Dossett. Thus far, I have not been made aware of any.
That's certainly correct, Governor. We have no reports of injuries or certainly no fatalities.
Great. Thank you, everybody. We will continue to provide updates as needed. As you've heard, for part of the state, we may be through the worst of it. But again, we're looking at the potential for the system to come back next week. It's also going to be really, really cold as we move through the weekend. So make sure you bundle up, take care of yourself, take care of your family and your kids, and don't take unnecessary risks until we're able to get these roads fully clear for you. We've done so much these last 11 months to protect one another. Let's keep it up. We'll see you at 4 for our COVID update. We're going to have some really exciting news on so many more providers in our network, where especially when supply picks up, we're going to be able to get more and more and more vaccine into your communities. Thank you all very much.